KGSO Radio.
Back to the press box here on 1410 AM, 93.9 FM, KGSO. JZ, James, Geren inside the Seven Clans KGSO studios. Man, we just wrapped up talking a good 15 minutes about Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Tyrese Halliburton going crazy there right before the buzzer down in Oklahoma City. Guys, we always have fun around this time slot when it comes to guests, our usual guest slot. I know a couple weeks back we had fun interviewing Sam Stevens, a part of the PGA Tour, leading up to the championship. Well, we got another special interview today starting right now. Nico Hernandez from right here in Wichita. You are a bronze medalist in boxing back from the 2016 Olympics. Nico, how's it going, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
We're doing awesome. We're doing awesome. It's great to have you here in the studio. Dude, I know you've been a busy man. You've got a big-time fight coming up June 27th. It's a part of this Deontay Wilder fight with Tyrell Herndon. What can you tell us about it?
Man, it's gonna be a great show. We ain't never had no boxing. Of course I fought here and stuff, but we never had another big name like Deontay Wilder here.
Right.
He goes down in history as he's one of the hardest punching heavyweights ever to be.
Oh, yeah.
And so you can be expecting to see probably a lot of knockouts that night, and just a really great show and bringing everybody out in the city.
So this is going to be streamed on BLK Prime. There's a lot of different ways to watch this. I'll go over that here in a sec. But to get tickets, Global Combat Collective, globalcombatcollective.com. If you want to see Nico, if you want to see Deontay Wilder and Tyrell Herndon at Charles Koch Arena coming up later this month. We've been sort of talking a little boxing here and now on the show. As I know in months past there was the Jake Paul fight against Mike Tyson, and that riled a lot of people up. I know there's been some recent fights with some of the actual boxers in the sport. To kind of go back to kind of probably the most relevant boxing thing here in this area versus our callers, as far as our feedback and what we've got from discussing it. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. When you see charades like that, is that an A+? Is that a thumbs up? Is that a thumbs down? As an actual, real, legit boxer, what do you think of sort of sideshows like that?
I mean, Jake Paul's, I guess he's good for boxing. Brings a different type of crowd out, but him going against Mike Tyson, I did not like that at all. Mike Tyson, he's pretty up there in age, and he don't move the same. Everybody expected Mike Tyson, to go out there and be the killer that he once was. But our bodies don't work like that. Is the older we get, man. It's hard to get back in shape, and our bodies definitely feel it. It's definitely not the same.
So I want to hear a little bit of your backstory, Nico. How did you get into boxing? How did you sort of start in boxing here in the area? And then take me to the Olympics back in 2016 when you won bronze.
Okay. So I started boxing when I was 9 years old, and my Uncle Pat was actually a boxing coach, and he was a boxer back in the day. And, I played soccer and basketball and stuff when I was little, and I didn't like the feeling of losing and it not being my fault. And boxing, that's a solo man sport. So if you lose in boxing, it's your fault. Only you're the one that knows what to do, and if you put in the work or not to come out victorious. So that's kind of what made me choose boxing.
Love it.
What does a typical day of training look like when you don't have a fight, in the near future? Say you have a break in between fights. Like, what does an average training day for you look like?
When you don't have a fight coming
When
up?
you don't have a fight.
Usually just, everybody's different, Some people take breaks, some people don't train at all, some people just stick to just jogging and weights and running and stuff like that. It depends on the boxer, man. Me, I won't work out every day. I'll do maybe 3-4 days a week, and I'll go in the gym. I won't hit it too hard, until training camp comes, and that's when we kind of speed things up and get to working hard and pushing ourselves, and so we don't how do they say just so we don't break down our bodies and stuff like that.
Because it's a little bit different from a football wide receiver practicing running routes or a basketball player lining up at the free throw line. When you're sparring, that's legit damage. There's significant worry there. We're, of course, talking with Nico Hernandez here on KGSO. Nico, I know there's kind of been maybe a little bit of slight confusion from fans as far as what's coming up on June 27th. I know you probably had somebody scheduled, a ranked fighter that kind of fell through. Looks like you're reshuffling for another fighter here June 27th.
Right.
You're kind of now entering, I guess, into your real camp, right? You're a couple weeks away. Tell me what that camp looks like, and how is it different when you don't necessarily have an exact fighter to game plan for?
Right. So our training camp, we usually start 6 weeks out, and mornings we wake up, we'll go run, we'll do our strength and condition, we'll eat, nap, and wake up again, go work out, do a boxing workout, sleep, and then wake up and do the same thing over and over.
Nice.
All the way up until the fight. So yeah, that's just kind of how that works right there.
So if I haven't had the chance to see you live yet in person, really looking forward to that June 27th.
Correct.
Nico, how would you describe your fighting style? I know that's always kind of something you hear about. Man, like, he's a great fighter, but how does he get it done? Why is he flashy? Why is he exciting? Nico, why are you an exciting draw in the sport of boxing?
I think I'm pretty. I can do it all. I can box. Be kind of slick on the outside. I can fight on the inside, bang it up. Go back and forth with you. Stay in the pocket. I do it all. I can move. I can fight left-handed. I can fight right-handed. I do it all. So I think that kind of what makes me different. And I'm the type to I want to get the crowd on their feet and
Right.
Give them a good show. I don't like I don't like boring fights, boring stuff like that. So I like to get the crowd routed up a little bit. And when I hear the crowd going crazy, that makes me go a little bit harder.
So I am looking at your record on Tapology.com.
Right.
Going through some of your fights here, I wanted to get your opinion. And I know Jaimes yesterday, we were going through this.
Right.
And I know the bare knuckle fight against Chance Wilson really stuck out to him.
Yeah.
Tell me about, you go through your fights here. You're 11-0, is that correct?
Yes,
With the
sir.
4 KOs?
Yes, sir.
Is there a fight that really sticks out to you? And tell me a little bit about this Chance Wilson fight.
I guess my fight in Korea on Manny Pacquiao's undercard, I was the co-main event for that. I fought against the Korean champion, and I beat him up pretty good.
There we go.
I got the win pretty not easy, but I made it look easy, I guess. And as far as the Chauncey fight, I thought that fight was pretty easy too. I actually broke my hands in the second round, I broke both of my hands. So.
But you went to the 4th.
Yeah. It was scary. It was scary. It was fun, but once my hands broke, it was scary. I didn't want to punch no more. I was kind of scared to let my hands go all the way. After the fight, I couldn't even hold the sponsor can in my hand. I could barely hold the can. Like, both of my hands were done. They were done for sure.
So
That part sucked.
you talk about once you broke your hands, there was maybe a little bit of worry. I think there was a lot more worry for Wilson because, well, they had to stop it because he vomited.
Yeah.
In the 4th. I don't know if I've
Right.
seen that too often.
Yeah.
In a boxing fight, it's not like these guys completely clear their stomach, but they fill up leading up to a fight after a weight cut. That had to have been an interesting outcome. I'm guessing you probably see bodies go limp or guys sort of tap out, but vomiting there in the 4th round, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think it's like signs of concussion or something like that. So they had to stop it, and I don't know. We took a picture after the fight. And I know my face was beat up, but his face was pretty beat up. I think he had to get stitches in his eye, and he was talking a lot of crap that
I did see that.
that I was scared that I was gonna get cut, and I cut him on the very first jab that I threw.
Love it.
Yeah, he thought he was ready. Not today.
Jaimes.
I guess what I can ask you is if you're going into a fight and your fighter's kind of tendencies, and then you get into the ring with them and then it changes.
Right.
How do you kind of improvise to what you thought was going to be thrown at you and then something completely different happens? Like, how do you adjust to that mid-fight?
I think that's where the amateur boxing came in. That comes into play and helps you a lot. In the amateurs, you fight you fight at tournaments. You fight for a week straight every single day, and
Oh wow.
and you don't really know any of the people that you're fighting and stuff, so you can't really just train for a certain style. So I think that's kind of what helps me. You gotta be able to adapt, like anything else, and you gotta have a good coach too, a good cornerman that can adapt and see what needs to be changed up the next round.
Nico, as I've kind of done some research, I've looked at your social media, I've kind of gone through and I've seen certain clips like this that I'm showing you now.
Right.
You're a guy who's battled a lot of adversity. You've overcome a lot of obstacles. Tell me a little bit about this story right now that I'm showing you, if you're okay with doing so, and how you've bounced back from that.
Right. So I was at a Halloween. I was at a Halloween get together, and not I mean, I wouldn't say a friend, but
Acquaintance.
However
yeah,
you
yeah.
wanna tell
An
the story.
acquaintance. He said he was trying to take the gun apart or something, and I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention, but I just felt my leg get blasted, and just there's blood started going everywhere, and he ended up breaking. I broke both of my main bones, and I got hit in my main artery, and they couldn't. Yeah, they wanted to amputate my leg, but they said the blood wasn't going through. They can cut into my other one and use one of the veins out of here. So they cut him into my other leg, and by that time my blood started flowing again. So thank God for that I still have my leg and I'm still alive. But I did get hit in my main artery, so I'm still trying to get the movement back in my toes. It's kind of hard.
And this was after winning the bronze medal in Rio.
Yes, sir.
Right.
It was I think 2 weeks after my bare knuckle fight. I had two.
Okay.
So I was on 2 broken hands and 1 broken leg. So I was like a 1 leg band or something. I don't know how you would say it.
When I look at fight schedules, in a perfect world, a fighter would, fight X amount of times per year. I pull up your schedule. You haven't had a bout here on Tapology since June of 2023, so it'll be about 2 years since you've been in the ring.
Right.
I gotta ask, what's kind of been the reason for the absence?
Okay, so in boxing, the management problem it's a big problem. The managers, not all of them, but a lot of them, they kind of screw you over. So what happened with my last 2 is they actually gave me bad checks, and my manager wasn't answering the phone and nothing like that, and so we kind of just wrote it out and let the contract ride out. So now I'm a free agent now, but that's why I didn't fight the last 2 years, because the management problems.
So hand in hand with that question, I was kind of prepared to ask you about this. For me, in terms of boxing, like growing up, as a fan of boxing, whenever I would see it maybe on SportsCenter, I'm seeing Pacquiao, I'm seeing Mayweather, but I maybe didn't necessarily know what the setup was. And I'm like, do they fight in a league? Is there an organization? My question to you is, would you like to see boxing be organized in like a traditional league structure, kind of like the UFC, where there's one organization, one attraction, everybody's fighting to get into that organization, and that way they can kind of unify all the belts? Would you like to see that, Nico?
Yeah, I would love to see that. I think that's better. I like how the UFC does that. But I did see the Dana White is where is Dana White? But yeah, he's coming over to the.
There's
to
a
the
lot of bald
boxing world.
guys in the UFC. Don't worry.
Yeah, he's came over to the boxing world, and I think he's trying to set some things up like that. So hopefully it happens, because I believe that there should only be one world champion.
Right. Another one for you here. As far as Deontay Wilder and Tyrell Herndon, you're kind of going around. I'm sure you're promoting this fight as well, given that you're on the undercard.
Right.
Do you have a prediction for this fight? I know, I feel like Deontay Wilder maybe hasn't been served the best in terms of boxing. I know you can kind of look at some fights, maybe in his past and say, oh, he maybe should have won there, he should have won here. But Deontay Wilder, I know you kind of hear some stuff now. Maybe he's a little bit distracted. Maybe he doesn't have the same urgency. Do you think Wilder still has it? And how do you think this fight rolls out? They got 10 rounds to settle it.
Hey, all I can say is Wilder's right hand is crazy. Wilder's right hand is crazy. I got Wilder winning by knockout.
You got a round?
I don't got a round. I don't
Okay.
got a round. I'm not sure a round, but I got Deontay by knockout.
I like it.
Now, Nico, is there a certain or a specific fight that you're aiming for, or are you just boxing just simply for the love of boxing?
I just want to be on top. I want to be a world champion. So I kind of, since I haven't fought in so long, I gotta start back over, and but it won't take me long to get back to the top, you know. So I'm a beast when it comes to the boxing thing. This is all I know. Boxing's all I know. I've been doing this for 20 years now. Since I was 9 years old, I'm 29 now. And you know, I got 135 amateur fights, and I had I think 12, 13 losses, and only 4 of those from the United States.
So I think I read that you were the first Olympian from Wichita or from Kansas since Lynette Woodard.
Right.
What kind of pride do you carry around? You're probably not thinking every day you wake up, oh, I finally won a gold medal from Wichita, but it's something to be prideful of. That's something to certainly take around and hold there up high. What do you think of that honor?
Oh man, I love it. You know, the city they showed me a lot of support, especially after the Olympics. They threw a parade for me. They gave me the key to the city. You know, it was crazy. It was crazy, but you know, I think my name kind of slowed down a little bit since I've been off for a couple of years, but you know, it'll be right back up to it, especially after this fight. You know, I'm gonna show everybody that I'm the truth, and you know, I'm here to stay, man. I'm here to be a world champion, and I'm gonna make it happen.
Do you have a what's your nickname? Do you have nicknames?
I don't have a nickname. No, I
Is
don't
that
have a
something that
nickname.
you would entertain? Like if one day an announcer or celebrity or a buddy just all of a sudden dropped you on it and you really liked it, do you think it would stick?
Maybe. I don't know. I've kind of been thinking about, you know, I'm kind of natural at everything I do. So I was thinking maybe like Nico the Natural or something.
No, I like it.
I don't know.
like it.
That's not bad.
I'm still trying to
pretty
think
good.
about it though. I'm not sure.
Keep in mind, you can catch Nico on this Deontay Wilder card with Tyrell Herndon. That's going down June 27th at Charles Koch Arena. Get your tickets at globalcombatcollective.com, as this is going to be on pay-per-view. Do you have maybe an idea of the estimated time that your fight would go down?
I'm gonna guess maybe like around 8 o'clock.
Okay.
8:30. I'm honestly not sure. You know, it depends on the fights before you, how long they go. There's knockouts, and in boxing anything can happen, so you never know.
Once again, the event will be distributed on BLK Prime and Integrated Sports across the U.S. and Canada, live on cable, satellites, and digital pay-per-view via in-demand, DirecTV, Dish, Bell TV, Rogers, Fubo, and pay-per-view.com. Priced at $24.95. I gotta say that's a pretty good price. That's affordable. A lot of people
Great price.
just go spend $30-40 on food.
Right.
That's affordable right there.
Yeah, so I want to see the city out, man. I'm excited for this show. I think it's gonna bring a lot of people out, especially being at WSU. It's right, it's
100%.
right there. So ain't no reason that it shouldn't be packed.
You're not able to announce your opponent just yet. That's going to be here in just the coming days. But any sort of prediction for the fight, any final sign-off here on KGSO?
Man, I'm just looking to go out there and put on a great show and show everybody what I do best, and let's just be me and come out on top victorious.
Oh, and how can people get involved in the Hernandez Boxing Academy here in Wichita?
You can just go up to the gym. It's at 1901 North Market. It's called Hernandez Boxing Academy. It's an old fire station. So, we take kids I think they start them at 8 years old. So 8 years old and up. So
there you go.
Bring them down there and sign them up, and it'll teach them a lot. Boxing teaches a lot more than just boxing. There's discipline, and it's a lot about life too. So.
100%. That's Nico Hernandez stopping by here on KGSO. He's fighting June 27th here in Wichita. Charles Koch, appreciate it, Nico.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Call the Press Box now on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines at 522-1410.
The Press Box on KGSO.
The Doug Gottlieb Show.
Okay, let's start with this. Finally nailed it, Gottlieb. The Oklahoma City Thunder most replicate the first Warriors championship team. I don't think it's that far off. I do know there are new rules in place which kill dynasties, but also meant to keep teams together. But with all the movement, they've been able to stay relevant, and now they have draft picks to keep them right there in the mix.
The Doug Gottlieb Show.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. on Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
Andel Ready Mix Central Incorporated has superior service, quality concrete, and cutting-edge equipment. Whether it's residential, commercial,